And this question is, you know, a great question. It's what makes our pay plan better? And
okay. Do you want me to answer?
Yep. Go ahead, George.
Yeah. All right. Okay. George. Yeah, I'm glad I am answering. Last week at the webinar, if you can go to the archive of the How to Get Going, you can see a lot of more answers. I mean, very complete. But let me tell you in a really simple way. Our plan is really simple. First of all, you sponsor only 2 people. You become a consultant. And as long as you are an active consultant, you are going to be paid on the entire volume under you. Obviously, you have to have the volume. But the cool thing that you can qualify just on the team bonuses, and this is one of the ways to get paid. When you have one on the left, one on the right, for those of you that are new, you become a consultant. And every time when you have one on the left, one on the right, that are ordering at least 100 points in bonus volume, when you have those 2, you get paid on.
I guess we lost George here.
We lost George. Hey, I can finish.
Yeah, go ahead, Tracy.
Well, just to expand a little bit on what George was saying, you know, I have people all the time say, you know, I'm in a stair-step breakaway, I'm into this, I'm into that. Well, my answer always is the same. The average person that signs up in a network marketing company will sign up 2.3 people. You cannot make money in any other company with 2.3 people. Okay, when you get 2 people into our company, which the average person can do, you're qualified for $750,000 a year. And you know, of course, you need the volume. You need more than 2 people, but the average person can really make our pay plan work. You cannot make the others work. And I won't name companies by name, but some of these companies out there, you've got to have 10, 15 wide just to get to the first level where you can get paid. Well, if the average person signs up 2 people, can the average person make that work? No, they can't. Jimmy Smith says it best. He says this is the best expression of the free enterprise system he's ever seen. Isagenix pay plan is unique, and it's in the way it is a binary plan, but it's different than most binaries. The other thing that I really want to say is most companies, you know, the real power in network marketing is the progression of numbers. Okay? The progression of numbers meaning 2 turns to 4, turns to 8, turns to 16. Companies realize that, and so they put stops and breaks so that they stop that progression. The money flows back to the company. Yeah, it does, but it don't go to the distributor because they'll stop you right when it starts to explode. Isagenix don't stop you. The progression of numbers can just take off like a rocket ship, and that's why we've got people coming into this company, and they're making, you know, big money in the first 90 days. Anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm back. No, and what Tracy said is totally right. And the progression of numbers that every company uses, it doesn't work in their pay plans, as Tracy was saying. Isagenix is the only plan where if you happen to have a progression of numbers, still you are going to qualify for the income because you get paid on your entire volume up to $13,500 in commissions for you a week. This is only one of the parts of the plan. The other thing is that I was going to say, in order for a pay plan to be really powerful, you have to have 3 things. Well, actually 4. The first one is simplicity, and we already talked about that. The second one, you have to have a lot of money up front. Since Isagenix introduced all these bonuses last year, we have now a lot of money up front. It's why we see people breaking records on income in the first 60 days, 90 days, etc. Now, and then we have the residual, and these are the cycle that's really strong in Isagenix. And then we have the back end where we have the reentry, where we can get paid 18% on that reentry on the minor leg when we start building the reentry. In other words, the plan is really complete. It's simple, a lot of money up front, a great residual, and a lot of money in the back. That's another reason this plan is so incredible.
I would put it up against any plan out there, wouldn't you, George?
I agree. And on top of that, we have great products that people are going to use every month. That's amazing.
Great.
Alex?
Great.
I
You know,
can trust you now.
no, I tell you, you know, it's definitely the pay plan here is absolutely fantastic. And one of the things I just wanted to point out, somebody just asked that copy that I had of the progressions of numbers, if we can get a copy of that, and I'll be posting it online at the howtogetgoing.com site. But I did want to point out for the people that weren't here last week, George's I Quit webinar has a lot of information on why our plan is so much more powerful than any other plan out there. So all you have to do is either go to the webinars tab on the menu and click there and check the archives of past BDP team webinars, or simply enter, you know, the search for the I Quit webinar, and it should take you right to it. So let's see here if we have another question. And for those of you that are just arriving, remember you can ask questions by just going to the GoToWebinar control panel at the top right of your screen. Click on the questions area and then just enter a question as if it was a chat. Question here says, I've had people tell me that binaries are not good. Anybody want to?
Okay, I don't know if anybody wants to answer, but I can answer. And one of the reasons, it's funny, when somebody say, oh, binaries are not good, I say, oh, were you in Isagenix? Obviously, they were not. And the reason is because not all binaries are created equal. Actually, when we go to the bottom line, the only two binaries Isagenix. And let me tell you why. I was in a binary company before Isagenix. But this one has limitations. The most that you can earn with one business center, in other words, 2 legs, was $1,000 a week. That's what some people don't like about binaries, because they said, well, you lose a lot of volume. In my case, I was getting paid only about on $20,000 for volume a week, and I have over 300,000 volume every week. I mean, I was making 280,000. Isagenix is not like that. When I ask somebody, why do you don't like the binary, they start telling me things like, oh, you are limited. Or the second thing that they said is, you get paid in the minor leg. That's another thing that we don't have in Isagenix. In Isagenix, we get paid on the entire volume, and left and right 6%. For example, there are companies that are binary that they pay 10% in the minor leg. Now, some people say, well, 10% is bigger than 6%. It depends. In Isagenix, when you have 300 points on one side and 600 in the other one, you get 54. If that volume was in a company that paid 10% in the minor leg, 10% of $300 is $30. Who'd make more money? You see, that's one of the reasons. The other thing people say, yeah, what I don't like about binary, what if one leg goes strong? Whoa, congratulations. You know what happens when you have a strong leg, a power leg? Now you have only one more leg to build. It's a dream come true. And again, you don't have limits of all the limitations or levels or crazy qualifications. And then if that happened, that, by the way, that was something that was basically praying when I got in Isagenix. I wanted one of my legs to go crazy. Why? Because then I work in only one. And every 300 points, they're going to give me $54. That's 18% if you think about that. But anyway, that's why when most people don't understand binary, because they are basing their knowledge in other companies, but not in Isagenix. Isagenix binary is totally different. And again, for those of them are going to tell you, oh, one leg can go crazy. Great. Now you have a dream that to build only one leg. That's amazing.
Well, George, the other thing that really that's really bad with some of the other pay plans, if you get paid on levels and you bring George or Ruiz in on your 8th level, but you only get paid to the 7th, you lose everything. I don't care if George comes in on my 250th level in Isagenix. I get paid on George.
Oh, yeah. Well, a good example is that my strongest leg started really deep in my organization. I didn't sponsor Hillary Cornick, for example, she came something like 100 lines down below me. If I was in another company, I would never know that Hillary Cornick was in my organization. And this is to give you an example, the power of this pay plan. And what you said is true. The other company has levels, they have volume requirements, they have so many limitations. And the best way, when you are talking to somebody, you ask directly, say, okay, how do you make $500,000 a year in your plan? Most people don't have a clue how to explain it. And Isagenix, you say, one on the left, one on the right. You teach those two to do the same. And then in that example that Tracy was telling you before, 2 brings 2 is 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128 to 56, 512, 1,024 to 1,048, 4,096, and then equal 8,190. By the way, you don't have to write it down. Alex is going to have this tomorrow posted on his site. And when you multiply that by 100 points, 6% of that is $49,000 a month. It's over $500,000 a year. That's the way that you can make $500,000 a year. Of course, we don't live in a perfect world, but it's really simple to explain because we don't have the other limitations that other clients have.
Well, you know, George, I never, if I'm on the telephone or if I'm across the table from somebody, that's probably, to me, the most important part of the whole presentation, because if you can show somebody how to do this business, they'll do it. If you just say, get in and sign up everybody you know, they won't sign up because they really don't understand how they're going to sign up 10,000 people. But if you show them this example and say, if you sign up 2 people and then help them find their 2 and continue it down your line, you know, in 12 generations, you're making $50,000 a month.
Yes.
Okay, in a
well,
the
so example
to
right
me,
now,
go ahead, George.
No, I was going to say, Alex has on the screen already the progression of numbers. Imagine you start at 9 o'clock in the morning and by 8 o'clock you retire. That's so cool. Of course, it's not going to happen like that. But no, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, and it's like you say in every meeting, how many people did you personally bring in? 2. Everybody knows 2 people that either needs more money or needs better help. You know, it's if you can teach them how to build a business with 2 people, and if you truly help those 2 people find their 2, all of a sudden the company pays you bonuses for helping them. You start this progression of numbers in motion. That's the secret to network marketing.
I agree. And something that I was going to say, in real world, of course, you have to sponsor more than 2 people in order to find those 2 that are going to build. But the thing is that, again, even in the real world, it works way better than any other pay plan. Absolutely.
Hi, this is Adrianne. I'm loving all of this conversation. Of course, I absolutely love everything that they said, and I agree with them 100%. But just one thing, when you're actually talking to people who may be asking you that actual question, I think it's best in that moment to ask them, well, you know, why don't you tell me a little bit about the way that your compensation plan is set. Like, actually dig in and see kind of what they're thinking, because when you come out with the binary, it's so simple to explain. I mean, it really is. I mean, you just put one on the left and one on the right. And when I'm dealing with other networkers and other companies, one of the first things, you know, first I'm going to inquire about their company. I'm going to check out and look at their pay plan, you know, without them even knowing. But I want to find out exactly how you can become a millionaire in their company. So if they, you know, most times, and almost every single time that I'm speaking with a networker and I ask them that question, they really don't know. They really don't know. It's going to take a ton of people and a ton of different loopholes to get through, you know, to really become a millionaire in their company. And with Isagenix, when you're explaining it, it becomes so simple. You can come in and say, well, in Isagenix, this is how we do it. And it's all those things that the voice just explained, you know, but it can be really simple. With 1% on the left side and 1% on the right side, you know, I can become a millionaire in Isagenix. The only thing I'm missing is the volume. And so that's what I like about it. I think that's really why we have 62 now millionaires in Isagenix. Over half of them are women. This is not a complicated business. The binary is one of the most simple compensation plans there is out there. And so we're really fortunate that Isagenix, and particularly Kathy Cooper, picked a compensation plan that was simple and easy for anyone, and I mean anyone, to accomplish a huge successful career in. And so that's what I love about being part of Isagenix. I have been on the opposite of that. I've been in other companies, not binaries, but I've been in other companies that just really, for my schedule, were impossible for me to really make a lot of money in an Isagenix instance. So the opposite, a complete opposite of the way that I felt in those other network marketing companies. So I'm really grateful to be here and to be a part of that. And just remember that when you're talking to other people, and really, find out, kind of how they would become a millionaire in their company, and then go in and explain to them how simple it is to become a millionaire in Isagenix.
Well said, Adrianne.
Yeah. Well, excellent points from everybody. And I just want to add my own personal experience here. When I first got started in network marketing, I was in one of the old style stair-step breakaway plans. And I was starting to build a downline and starting to help people in my downline. And what I found out is that I could help my personally sponsored, and I could help the ones that they personally sponsored, and I could help the ones that they personally sponsored. But if somebody else was coming into the organization, if I helped them, I wouldn't get paid on them anyhow. So it turns out that I had to start building lots of legs in order to just have people that would fall within my levels. And in Isagenix, it's basically just 2 legs. And one important point that I do want to make is many times we get discouraged. I know I got discouraged at the beginning. I thought that, I was putting a lot of effort, and a lot of the people that I was putting in were not duplicating. A lot of the people were not doing exactly what I hoped they would do. And the important thing that I did that contributed to my success was not to quit, because my first leader didn't appear on the first level or the second or the third or the 10th or the 20th. It was on the 26th level that somebody that I finally could work with appeared. And on the other leg, it was on the 42nd level. And ever since those 2 leaders appeared, then the organization started to grow and multiply and so on. So it's got a lot to do with also being patient and understanding that if you quit, you'll never succeed. And in the binary plan, if somebody comes in today, on level 400 or 500, I can still get paid on it. And that doesn't happen anywhere else.
You bring up a really good point, Alex, in what you just said that I didn't even think about till now. But, I have a friend that was in another company, and he went to California. He spent 6 months helping one of his leaders grow. He just worked his tail off, blah, blah, blah. When he got home, his wife was furious. She took care of the books. She says, never do that ever again. He says, why? She says, because now we're never going to get paid on him ever again. He helped him grow to a point where he broke away, and he never gets paid from that guy again. Well, the beauty of Isagenix is the more I help my people grow, the better it is for me. In these other pay plans, if you help your people grow, they leave and you lose their volume.
That's exactly right. And let's just move on to the next question here. And since you mentioned a friend, Tracy, maybe you want to start with this one. The question is, my friend got burned in another company. Now he won't listen. What do I do?
Well, the first response to that question is, there's a lot of people in the world. You don't get all caught up on one person. If they're not ready, if the timing's not right, say, hey, maybe this isn't right for you. But for the most part, if people are like that, it's because they just don't understand. They don't have enough information. And I would say, there's a lot of pat answers you can give them. Well, if you went out to eat at a restaurant and had a bad meal, did you quit going out to eat? That kind of an answer. But the truth is, even if they've seen Isagenix 5 years ago, it's a different company today than it was 5 years ago. And you just need to say, I don't care if you want to do it or don't want to do it. Give them that out and say, but just come and see what we have. Come and see what we've got to offer. Because most people that's got burned in network marketing have been in some of these pay plans that are very abusive, very difficult, and nobody makes any money. It's like I said before, if the average person signs up 2.3 people in a company, and you need 20 to make money, you're signing up your friends, your family, your uncles, your aunts, and you know full well most of those people will never make any money in these other pay plans. And that gives network marketing a bad name. And Isagenix, you say, look, the average person really can make this work. That's an easy answer. George, have you got anything to add to what I'm saying? If somebody says that to you?
Well, one of the answers is what you just said. I tell people, that my first experience with sushi was terrible. And I say, I will never try sushi again. I'm glad I try again because now I love it. And they say, the same with network marketing. The first experience could be bad for many reasons, but the second one, you are going to love it.
Okay.
Well, that's a great answer. How about you, Adrianne? Any suggestions there, or? Okay. Well,
let me just sorry. Let me just say this. If they've had a bad experience in network marketing and they can't get over it, then they're not a networker. Because here's the reality of the situation. You know what? Sometimes if you're a real networker, you've tried out a couple that weren't as great as you expected they were going to be. But if you don't try again, just like George said, then you'll never know. And, that's one thing. I have a lot of people saying, oh, my gosh, just never do that again. Or I can't believe that you're doing that. And I say, oh, yeah, how come? Compared to what? Compared to the job that you're at, from 9 to 5 every day, where I could sit back and be a two-star golden circle and work less than 10 hours a week. I mean, that's ridiculous. So, I think they only know what they know, and they usually don't know much. If they've had a bad experience, there's a reason why, and you need to find out why. And probably one of the softest ways is to say, why don't you tell me a little bit more about that? Or, tell me what happened to you. And then that way you can get more to the root of the problem. Why were they rubbed the wrong way? What happened in either the company or the industry or whatever that, made them feel that way? And then, what? The best way to step into that is just to say, well, I'm glad that we're not that. Or I'm glad that my company's not like that or my team's not like that. And, it doesn't matter what you do to make money. When you are a leader in network marketing, you make a commitment to the people that you enroll into your team and into your organization. And if, they had other people who were unwilling to make that commitment, then, that's something that they experience. And now you can just say, what? Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. Would you be open to looking at a company that didn't have those obstacles? And so that's just one thing that I've been learning and using, and that one works really well. And, I didn't mean to come out so hardcore, but it's so true. If you haven't had some kind of experience in network marketing, then you're not doing it right. You've got to really get in and get dirty with it for a little bit and, get your hands dirty and be prepared to experience what this industry is all about, the good and the bad, so that you know how to use, there's opposite to everything. And, for me personally, I feel like there's way more good than there could ever be bad. And I'm always focusing on that. I try never to focus on the negative, what's happening. So that's what I love about being an Isagenix, is there isn't a lot of negative to deal with. So that's good.
That's great. Now, one thing I'd just like to add something in here. Basically, the way I look at it is, I feel sorry for that friend that got burned, quote unquote, in network marketing. But right now, what my job is to build a business. And the way that I build a business is by looking for people who are serious about changing their financial situation and are willing to do it right now. I'll put those friends in the back burner and keep them updated and so on. But I really look forward to working with people who are ready today, who are serious about improving their financial situation. Let's move on to another question, and we're getting to the top of the hour. So for those of you who who have some questions, just If we cannot get to them, we will try to answer them via email to you later on. I'm going to combine here a couple of questions, and in essence, it's how do you approach people? Do you approach them with the business? Do you approach them with the products? What's your, what do you lead with?
Well, before I would like to answer that question, but before I do it, it would be a good idea to extend the webinar about 10 minutes because we only went through 4 questions. But anyway, to answer this question, I approach with the lifestyle. I ask the person questions. What do you like to do if you have all the money in the world? Where would you go? What would you do? What would you buy? The reason is because then you can check with the person what they want. Now, some people are going to tell you right away, gosh, I feel tired, I feel old, I feel fat, or whatever. And then you say, I always like to jump in right away. I ask, are you doing anything about it? And say, well, I try other things, but they don't work. Well, if I can show you some way that works, would you love to try it? And then the person say yes. Then that's when I introduce Isagenix. Depending on the business side. When the person tells me all the things that they would like to do, if they have all the time and all the money that they want, and the first question I ask is, say, okay, doing what you are doing now, how long will it take you to do that? And if they say never, I say, okay, if I introduce you to something that can give you the money and the time to do all those things, will you be open to go for it? And if the person says yes, then I talk about Isagenix. And usually I'm going to do it by introducing them to videos. If there is a lifestyle video, we have the enterprising woman, and we have retired with an income. And if the person wants to know more about the products, then we go to the telomeres and longevity. If we are talking about aging and increased weight loss, I like to go to Are You Toxic? I actually cover both of them. But this is as simple as that. You don't have to jump with what you think. Just ask questions and listen. That's the most important. In other words, you create relationships. And with a good relationship, you create good prospects. And good prospects many of them become good associates. And good associates, not only they will become successful, but they will make you really successful too.
Well, George, if I can add to the question just a little bit, a lot of people say, I want to try the products first. If they work for me, then maybe I'd be willing to share that with people. What would you say to people like that?
Well, one of the things I said that's okay, but one of the things I said, you know what? I know how you feel, but when I found out that 90% of the people have results with the product, I said, if I'm one of those 10 that doesn't work, doesn't matter because I can make a fortune with it. And I told that to Jimmy, by the way. When Jimmy told me for every 10 people, 9 were having results, I said to him, oh, even if the product don't work on me, I ain't going to do this because this is a gold mine. And that's when you can see it from the business point of view. Because this is a business. This is a business. And it doesn't matter what. We have so many products that a person is going to find the products that they can work for them. First of all, the product B with the essentials with product B, everybody needs that product. If a person say, I don't want to do a cleanse, well, jump with the health and the essentials with product B. That's the heart for protecting our heart, our nervous system, the telomeres. I mean, it's a very powerful product. But again, I say 9 of 10 have results. Even if it doesn't work for me, I'm going for this. And I tell my story because that's what I told Jimmy.
Great answer. I was hoping that's what you'd say. I knew that. I mean, when you have a product that has 90% of the people having a great result with it, it really don't matter what happens with you. You can feel comfortable. And you know, how many times people use somebody else's story? You know, they used to teach us, if you want to tell somebody, if somebody says, well, how does this product work? What's in it that makes it work so well? You know, I really don't know exactly what the scientists are doing. All I can tell you is here's this lady that's lost 100 pounds. This guy's done this. This guy's done this. You know, well, what about the business? Well, I really don't know. All I can tell you is we've created 62 millionaires so far with this company. That's amazing. Tell me a company in your area that's created 62 millionaires. And people will just look at you like, never. Alex, we have any more questions?
Okay, yeah, actually, I was trying to put this graphic here on one of the questions because they were asking, what is it exactly that I need to do in order to do this business? And I figured, this graphic would be appropriate. I'm looking for some other document where we have what the job description really is. But this graphic actually sums it all up. And I don't know, George, if you want to explain what this graph means.
Yes. Now, before we have a couple of trainings also on the webinars where we go in more detail. But connect is simple. When we connect with people, we start talking to them. Present is when you actually present the person. Could be face to face, or could be then watching one of our videos on the internet or a webinar. And then follow up, obviously, the fortunate in the follow up. You don't follow up, you don't get anything. And if you do those three things every day you are connecting with people, every day you are getting people to watch the videos or sit down with them or inviting them to a meeting, at least 2 presentations a day, Monday to Friday or 5 days a week, and then you do follow up every day, every week, you are going to sponsor at least one person, and at the end of 12 months, you are not going to need a job. Actually, I dare to say 9 months or less, you are not going to need a job. We have checked the training that we did last week, and I talked about those things too. But anyway, that's really powerful, those 3 points. You do every time, you're going to be successful. Every successful person in any company follows these 3 steps. They may call it different, but that's as simple as that.
The more you do, the faster you grow.
That's right.
Funny, I remember asking that question, I swear, for like the first 18 months of being an Isagenix. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? And they would kept saying the same thing to me, contact, present, and follow up. And I'm like, okay, now how am I supposed to do that? And they're like, what do you mean? Really, it's so simple. What they mean by contact is you just simply getting a business card or making a connection with somebody. Hi, how are you? A presentation would be just sending a video from your site or inviting them to a local presentation or going over to their home and sharing with them your Isagenix story, what you're excited about. Show them, one of the Isagenix tools. Follow up is, calling them back, and if they don't trust immediately, calling them back and saying, hey, I was just checking in to see if you still were ready to order some products. You're ready to make some money. And it is that simple. Don't make it out to be anything else, because you will get so caught up in what you think you're supposed to be doing. Honestly, just make it really simple. Every single day, write out a little list of people or get on Facebook. I love Facebook for this reason. You guys, if you think about social media and you think about Facebook, you are so used to connecting with people through social media. You send them a message. You start a chat sequence where, hi, how are ya? Hi, my name's Adrianne. I've never met you before. I'm really excited to get to know you. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do? That's a connection. Presenting, you get to a point in your conversation where you find out what they do, how long they've been doing it, are they working full-time or part-time? You find out more about them. That puts you in control of your business, right? You find out more about them, then you can figure out which video or presentation would be best for them to view. Hey, I'm going to send you over a presentation, and then I'm going to call you back, or I'm going to message you back in 10 minutes. Or I think, after you've watched that would be a great time for us to talk. What's your phone number? And that's how you're going to do the follow-up. Or you could just simply follow up with a message on Facebook. But just think of it as that simple. Don't make it anything harder than that. Otherwise, you'll do what I did for 18 months, kind of just sitting on my assets, pardon my French, not realizing that I needed to get going, that there wasn't anything holding me back but myself. You really got to understand that. The only difference between you and somebody who's making a 6-figure income right now is they're simply making more connections, they're doing more presentations, and they're calling people back more often. And so that is your business. That's the only thing you need to be doing. And, it doesn't matter what you said. You cannot ever give the wrong piece of information to the right person, because the right person's always going to say yes. And it's not your job to convince people of what you have. Your job is simply to sort. You just want to keep sorting through people until you find the right ones. George Ruiz tells us he can attribute his massive income to about, a lot of people ordering, but about 5 to 7 leaders. I think. I'm sure he'll jump in and give the reality of that. But, that's what I want you to remember, that you don't need millions of people to be your business partners. You just need a couple good ones. And especially you need to start with just one on the left and one on the right. I'm telling you, if you're not a consultant yet, go out and get it done. Find two people up and say, hey, we're doing this, okay? And tell them why. People they love motivation. They love to hear people excited. They want to hear you excited about your opportunity. They don't want to hear you like, hey, this is the 10th time I've connected with somebody this week and I'm just doing it because you're a number. No, they want to hear how excited you are about what Isagenix has to offer. How about that product D? Oh, you've never heard of it? Oh my gosh, let me send you a video. So I know I'm getting kind of excited because how could you not get excited about sharing this? Go out, find some people, whether it's through social media or you going through your cell phone and writing out a list if you're brand new and just simply going through those. If you haven't watched 3K 30 Days yet, that's one tool. If this wasn't enough for you, to help you get going, go watch 3K 30 Days. It's like, I'll give you homework if you ask for it. Go watch 3K30days.com. It's great homework, okay? But if you want to get in action, you want to start making money, just go ask people how they're doing. Ask them some questions. Find out what kind of person they are. Send them a video, and then make sure you call them back. Or you do a 3-way call simply. Anyways, that's how I run my business, and it took me 18 months to realize that that's how simple it was. I know. But anyway.
I have people all the time, Adrianne, say, well, George was lucky because, look, he signed up Alex or Leanne. Luck don't happen unless you're talking to people. If you're talking to people, you get lucky.
Something I want to say about luck, as a matter of fact, I'm posting on Facebook that probably tomorrow. Luck is actually something, it's a state of mind. And the cool thing is that we can create it and we can duplicate it because it's a state of mind. If you believe that you're going to find people and really feel it that you're going to find people that are going to bring God to them. And of course, everybody else is going to say, that person is lucky. You bet your whatever that, they are lucky because they are creating their own luck. And I love to hear that word. But anyway, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, well,
and that's exactly right. But you're not going to get lucky if you don't do anything.
That's right. You create it. You create your own luck. Guys, we have about 5 minutes, before we wrap it up. But I wanted to thank Nicole, who just shared with me that the 63rd millionaires were announced this weekend at the ISIU in New Jersey. And their doctors, Ina Nosek, Len and Ina Nosek. So congratulations to them. And, that's already 63 millionaires. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to achieve soon. We're going to get to the hundreds pretty quickly here, especially with the people that are coming in now and with the new bonus plans and so on. So, George, I don't know if you want to say something to wrap it up. I don't think we have time for any more questions.
Well, one of the things that I want to say, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to send an email to the same address that comes on the newsletter, and we can answer those questions. And the other thing, make sure you go back to some of the webinars. For example, if it's about the pay plan, last week's webinar about the I Quit is very important. Now, I want to say something. It's really important for you guys to make sure in your mind and in your action, you recommit again to Isagenix, because right now the opportunity is amazing. Right now is the best time to build the business. In times of crisis, in times of financial being slow, it's the best time to build business, because most of the people are so nervous and so distracted that, guys, you don't have competition. Now, right now, we have a crisis, but the crisis is not as much a crisis of financial, but it's a crisis of leadership, guys. Now, the person that step up as a leader in Isagenix is going to create an incredible fortune. And guys, step up onto that. And I know some of you say, well, but that is scary. But you know what? that scary feeling also can be interpreted as an excitement feeling, because when you're scared and when you're excited, you feel the feeling in the same place. Well, guys, go for it, because you can be those leaders. And by the way, you're not going to be working on your own, because you are going to be working with other leaders in Isagenix, other people that think like you, people that are going to work with you, and then all together we can reach amazing goals. Remember, there is a crisis of leadership, and we are the leaders. We are the people that are going to step up and make a difference in thousands of people, millions of people. And then when the time of the economy recovers, although never is going to be the same than before, because this is a change of economy, guys, you are going to say, wow, I am glad I went into action, because right now I'm just picking up the fruits of my labor, because you are going to be really financially independent, and you are going to be helping so many people in doing the same thing. And of course, with the product, a lot of people are going to change also their physical life. But anyway, that's what we have tonight. And guys, I don't know if anybody else wants to add something, but
I want to just say one thing that I think is super, super important. All through this whole roundtable, you guys have been looking at resources that Alex Kokin has made available to us. He's put a lot of time and a lot of effort into our website. I'm telling you, it is jam-packed with information, with sheets, with anything you could ever ask to build this business is there. So first of all, I just want to say thank you so much to Alex for all the effort he puts into this. But also, you guys realize what a resource you have. It's a huge resource, and it's sitting there for you. So don't hesitate to get on there. You know, everything you learn in this business is twofold. One thing, it'll help you grow yourself. But if you want to grow a business, and just suck in this information like a sponge, because it'll come back out and you won't even know where it came from. So just thanks a lot, Alex, for what you do.
No, thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
and well, then we're gonna have this posted tomorrow afternoon at the howtogetgoing.com site, along with some of the supporting documents. And I want to invite you all for next Monday for our weekly BDP team webinar. And well, thank you, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon. Good night.
Thanks.